While Netflix might have company when it comes to streaming services, many people remain loyal due to its reliable platform and bevy of classic, original movies and TV shows. Regardless of if you've moved on to one of Netflix's competitors or not, it's hard to deny how impactful they've been when it comes to changing the landscape of entertainment as we know it. We can't wait to see what Netflix has up its sleeves for the next few critical years. The platform brings a lot of services for its users that are consistently expanding and reaching various parts of the globe. But there are several things you probably don't know about Netflix. Things you wouldn't believe. In this video, we're going to show you 10 facts that you need to know about Netflix. We're OnlyBrands, the channel dedicated to bringing you awesome, regular content on the world's hottest brands. Let's do this. Number 1. Netflix porn. In 1998, Netflix was still in the business of selling as well as renting DVDs. To try and offer consumers something new, co-founder Mark Randolph decided to offer footage of President Bill Clinton's grand jury testimony about his involvement with Monica Lewinsky. But according to the book Netflixed, the duplicating house had a mix-up. Out of the 1,000 customers who ordered Clinton's interview, a few hundred received discs full of hardcore Chinese pornography. Number 2. Science out of spoilers. Because so much of Netflix's high-profile content can be binged in a single weekend, the company commissioned cultural anthropologist Grant McCracken to examine how spoilers affect a person's viewing habits. McCracken identified classifications of spoiler-prone people by whether they ruin a plot twist intentionally or hold it over others. Some people are coded spoilers, too self-aware to let anything slip. These people are your friends. His verdict? Some people enjoy the power they get from having knowledge of spoilers, but if a show is good enough, knowing about key scenes won't dissuade viewers from watching. Number 3. Binge watchers. Furthermore, the term binge watching has exploded along with Netflix's popularity, but the term wasn't invented by the content streaming giant. In fact, binge watching first came into existence in the early aughts as DVD box sets became more popular. That being said, Netflix almost single-handedly popularized the phrase. Here are some celebrities who binge just like you. Zac Efron managed to incorporate his Stranger Things binge into his exercise regime. Comedian Jim Gaffigan went on Conan to describe his unique binge-watching habits by saying, "I binge-watch shows I don't even like." He explained his rationale saying, "Well, this is pretty bad. I guess I'll watch 8 or more episodes." Jennifer Lawrence was a huge Homeland fan, and her dream came true when she met Damian Lewis on the red carpet. But her third season binge was ruined by Access Hollywood's Sean Robinson, who spoiled a major plot twist. By the way, a lot of hard work and care goes into these videos, so if you could help us out and click the subscribe button, we would greatly appreciate it. Number 4. How it evolved. The classic tale of how Netflix got its start is that of CEO Reed Hastings, who was charged $40 in late fees when he rented Apollo 13 and kept it beyond its due date, keeping it for 6 weeks. As the story goes, his wife was getting fed up with this incessant behavior of keeping movies far beyond their due dates, racking up huge late rental fees. Hastings had misplaced the video and didn't want to tell his wife, and he questioned himself about whether he was really willing to compromise his marriage over a late fee. On his way to the gym, he ascertained that the gym had a much better business model. You paid a set amount, and you could then work out as little or as much as you wanted. Customers in 1997 didn't really get the idea because no one shopped online very much. The idea of renting a movie online, then having to return it, was not really anyone's idea of how things should be done. Telling people the story, however, cleared up any questions consumers may have had, leading them to understand the concept of keeping the movies for as long as they wanted without having to pay any late fees. Number 5. Netflix is a big deal in the US. The country with the most Netflix subscribers is, unsurprisingly, the United States. Over 73 million people in the United States have Netflix accounts. That's about 22% of the total population. Even more impressively, that's just the number of accounts. About 2/3 of Netflix users share their accounts with other people. While some of these are couples with joint accounts, a fair amount of users are serial sharers who give their login out to more than 3 other people. So, If you're on a tight budget but looking for a way to watch amazing content, you might want to consider sharing your Netflix password with people you trust. However, remember that Netflix does forbid users from sharing passwords. While you can consider giving your Netflix password to someone you trust, avoid selling screens or sharing with random people over the internet. You might lose access instantly if Netflix detects suspicious activity in your account. Number 6. Kibble and chill. Netflix tried out quite a few names before settling with the one everyone knows today. Some of the ideas that got kicked around were DirectPix, Replay, and Luna, to name a few. In fact, it was originally tagged as Kibble, but that was just for incorporation purposes. Mark Randolph, Netflix's founding CEO, had a dog named Kibble, and the name was temporarily assigned to remind everyone at what would end up being called Netflix about an old advertising maxim, which basically meant it didn't matter how good the advertising is if the dogs won't eat the dog food. Eventually, they of course settled on Netflix as the name of the company. Thank goodness, right? Sounds kind of weird saying kibble and chill. The name Netflix is a clever and witty fusion of the word net, meaning the internet, and fix is a shortened version of flicks, which means movies. And there you go. Now you know why Netflix is called Netflix. Number 7. Blockbuster could have owned Netflix. In what will go down as one of the biggest missed opportunities of the century, Blockbuster turned down an opportunity to buy the then fledgling Netflix for $50 million. Reed Hastings, the Netflix CEO, proposed that they would handle Blockbuster's online business while Blockbuster took Netflix offline. It wasn't meant to be, however. When Netflix approached Blockbuster, the company still wasn't turning a profit. According to Variety, then Blockbuster CEO John Antokio lacked the vision to see where the home video industry was going and the changing shifts in the business under his feet. Fast forward a few years, and as of September 2022, Netflix is worth more than $100.69 billion, while Blockbuster is no more. That's gotta hurt. That was an especially juicy fact, right? I think that one definitely deserves the thumbs up. Number 8. Netflix has an outdated library. One big complaint about Netflix, which has been one of its sore spots ever since the streaming service went live, is that its library is never up to date. These days, only Netflix originals can really be considered timely and trendy due to licensing agreements with TV networks. It doesn't make sense to let Netflix stream episodes as they've released on networks because that would kill any incentive for people to watch the networks themselves. Netflix's strength is binge watching, which means it's good for catching up on TV shows just before the next season begins. That's why most of Netflix's library is about 1 year old. Networks aren't willing to let Netflix load up its library with recent content, because that's when a full season DVD sales are still profitable. And that's one reason films are so late to join Netflix's library. Publishers only start licensing with Netflix when sales of a season, show, or movie have run their course. Number 9. Limited regional selections. Of all the drawbacks to Netflix, one is undeniably bad for viewers. The number and quality of movies and TV shows you have access to will depend on where you live. For example, if you live in the United States, there will inevitably be times when you want to watch something that's only available on Netflix Canada or Netflix UK. This happens very rarely, but when it does, it's annoying. We can't imagine how frustrating it is for people outside of the US wanting to watch Netflix content available exclusively inside the United States. There are, of course, ways to watch everything on Netflix no matter where you live, the most common method being the use of a VPN. Number 10. Netflix versus pirates. Did you know that it's estimated that internet pirates cost the US film and TV industry approximately $71 billion annually? But Netflix analyzes the trends and videos with high piracy rates and uses that information to adjust the films and television shows available to Netflix subscribers. Also, to prevent such illegal content leakage, Netflix and other streaming services protect their content using a technology called DRM and watermarking. Netflix uses Google's Widevine DRM service, which is also used by many streaming companies such as Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and so on. We appreciate you sticking around and we hope you enjoyed the video, but why stop now? Click these videos for more awesome content.